facing our fears, laughing through the chaos and drinking some beers. So here's to the laughs, the crumbs and the cheers, all the awkward moments, and we're still here. Cause in the end we're just doing our thing. It's our crazy life, oh, one more thing. Oh, one more thing.
Oh, hey everybody, I'm Brian. Welcome to Oh and One More Thing.
I like that. Keep doing that. Hey everybody, it's Rob. Hey, it's time again for our podcast. It's relatable. I think it's funny. It's full of facts. Whether they're important facts, it's debatable.
It might be debatable, but it's all right.
Yeah, it's fun.
So what's new with you, Rob? You know, I haven't seen you for the last maybe 10 hours?
Coffee. Yes. So in the last 10 hours, I got my TV fixed.
You got your TV. Update on the TV. Let's hear it.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen to last week's episode. I had a huge TV kerfuffle. My one-year-old TV failed. But of course, I bought it at Costco.
Yeah.
That's where I buy everything. And it came with a 5-year warranty, so I got to abuse that warranty. And they replaced it. They gave me a full refund on my old TV, and I was able to buy a new one. And the new one, same size, newer model, $800 cheaper.
Wow.
And it came
that's good.
And it came with a 5-year warranty.
Again, good.
Yeah.
In case there might be anything else in the future that might happen to it.
And my good friend Brian, on his way over today, stopped by and helped me hang that sucker on the wall.
Okay, I was just going to say, yes, I'm excited you got your TV, but holy crap, was that thing heavy.
Those things are not light.
I mean, buying a 77-inch TV, first of all, why? I mean,
why
you can't
not?
sit far enough away from that thing. It's so big.
It's awesome. That is our main viewing TV, so it is a little special, but yes.
Yes, it's very large.
Yes, it is. Well, what's up with your fiber install? Is that finally done?
Guess what?
What?
It was installed the day after we talked about it last time.
Nice. Yep. And they didn't break it when they did it?
No, everything went great. I didn't even know the guy was done.
Nice.
He got to the door and didn't speak any English.
Yeah.
But so cool, using the Google Translate app, he would speak in it, press play.
Yeah.
It would tell me ask me the question.
Right.
And then he would give me the phone and I'd speak into it for him and then he could listen to it.
Nice.
It would actually work out really, really
Isn't
well.
that slick?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, my headphones would do that too. Like if I have the headphones in on it, because I have a Google phone, Google headphones, blah, 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 blah,
blah, blah, blah.
And if you, use the Translate app, it talks in your ear and then you just like hand them the phone. It's like, you're talking naturally to somebody.
Yeah. So I had to ask my daughter how I get that on my phone so I could, I want to start using it. Well, I don't speak to anybody in Spanish. So there's that issue.
Right.
But then when we were outside and I wanted to make sure he went around the landscaping specifically, and my daughter came out and she just spoke Spanish to him. So I'm like, okay, well, there's that.
That solves the problem, doesn't it? Yeah.
But it's great.
Yeah, so question for you. So you remember a couple of weeks ago, my wife and I took a road trip.
Yeah.
And we had coffee, as we do every Tuesday, with our friend Jeff Hoxie, the home builder.
Yep. Hi, Jeff.
It's a little concerning with Jeff.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
He was taking a day trip up to St. Cloud and he needed a hotel room. And we, of course, asked, hey, Jeff, did you book your hotel room yet?
Right.
And he said no.
Oh, and you know what? You know me, and I'm already getting nervous for him.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I need to have that stuff figured out.
Right? Yeah. I'm the kind of guy where, yes, I like to have it planned out. But if we're going to a major city, like part of our trip, we went through Denver. If we didn't book that hotel till the day of, like 10 hours from South Dakota to Denver, I could live with that. You, on the other hand, I think
I could not
lose your mind.
live with that.
Yeah.
I need to know that I have a destination. I'm going to go there. The hotel, I've already looked at the whole grounds of the hotel and know my way around it.
Yeah.
And I feel more comfortable getting into that environment that I've already seen everything.
Yeah. And then there's Jeff's in mind. And one night in St. Cloud, he's just going to walk into a hotel room at midnight and say, hey.
Yeah, got a room?
Got a room.
Oh my gosh. To me, that is like a major fail.
No, absolutely it is.
Yeah. So today we're celebrating failure.
Thanks, Jeff.
That was a great opportunity because if you're not succeeding, you might as well get a good story out of it, right?
That's right. Never fear failure. Always embrace it. My mom said that to me as she released me from her hug.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
My mom's going to comment on that now. I know she's listening. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. We're going to share some epic flops, hard-earned lessons, and proof that nobody has it all figured out.
It's humanity's most universal hobby. Whether you've missed a deadline, burned dinner, or confidently hit reply all. Oh, I hate when I do that. When you shouldn't have, you're in good company.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Let's talk about it.
I've had that happen a few times.
Reply all is the worst. Why is the button even on there?
Well, because sometimes you have to reply all, but then when you realize it, you're like, can I take that back, please?
It should be a hidden button. You should have to search for it. Oh my gosh.
Why failure hurts so much and why it's the raw material of everything that works. The premise here is failure is data, not identity.
I agree with that.
We tend to treat failure as a verdict. This didn't work, therefore I am not capable. But in high-performing systems, science, aviation, elite sports, failure is treated differently.
Sports?
I know, elite sports.
Elite sports.
I'm totally into elite sports. Can't you tell?
I can totally tell. So failure equals information under conditions of uncertainty. The gap between those two interpretations is where most human suffering lives. Failosophy is the practice of studying failure without moral judgment.
That's hard.
Extracting patterns, not shame.
Okay.
And turning outcomes into usable knowledge.
Failure can feel so personal, even when it's not. Psychologically, failure hits 3 core human needs. Identity. Failure threatens the story you tell about yourself. I'm smart, I'm capable, I make good decisions. Right?
Stuart Smalley.
That's right. How many times is that guy going to come up in our stories?
Episode flashback.
When reality contradicts that, your brain treats it as a threat, not feedback. So why is it so hard to learn from failure?
Yeah, see, I think that's what a lot of people, including myself, struggle with is failure is not always bad.
Right.
That's how you get better is when you fail.
If you can step away from it and look at it, it's like, okay, that I learned something there, but it's so personal. Failure is so personal that you take it as an attack on yourself.
Right. I think we're bred and raised to always want to succeed at everything. And that's, it's not human and it's not normal. Failure is not bad. So belonging from the failure lens is evolutionary. Rejection equals danger. Mistakes that lower status equal risk of exclusion. So failure triggers social fear. What will people think of me? And control, we want our efforts to equal success. Failure breaks that equation. You did everything right and you still lost. This creates anxiety because the world feels unpredictable.
It challenges how you see yourself, makes you worry about what others think. It reminds you that hard work doesn't always guarantee success. But over time, I've personally have learned that failure isn't a verdict on who I am. It's information. Every setback, mistake, or missed opportunity contains lessons that help me grow and adapt and make better decisions. Instead of treating failure as an identity, I try to treat it as like data. It's not evidence that I'm incapable. It's the raw material that helps me build what works next.
You're a Big Bang Theory fan, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's the premise kind of that show is they're constantly failing, but then they succeed.
Right. And it's hard to put that into perspective and think about when you fail. It's okay. It's great. It took me years and years and years to learn that I'll be okay with that.
Right.
It's like my art. If I do a painting and I don't like it in the end, it doesn't matter whether I like it or not. But what I went through to create it, I learned so much.
Right.
Now my next painting might be a little bit better.
Yeah. I would say the only exception to that rule is, at least in my corporate life, is you don't want to fail so much you lose your job.
Right. Well, there's a problem if that happens.
There's a point where you can't fail, but
I'm thinking more personal failures.
Exactly.
Okay, I have a question and I need you to be honest. How's my lawn look?
Honestly, a little thin and kind of patchy.
I knew it. I've been doing everything I can and it's just not getting better.
You should look into Spring Green. They do fertilization and weed control so your lawn actually gets thick, green, and consistent.
And that's exactly what I'm missing.
They take care of weeds so your grass has a real chance to fill in. And in the fall, they do aeration and overseeding, which helps fix the thin areas and keeps your lawn healthier long term.
That explains why some yards just look fuller and more put together year after year.
Exactly. And they also offer mosquito, flea, and tick control so you can actually enjoy your yard in the summer. Spring Green handles the lawn, the pests, and the outdoor stuff so you don't have to think about it all season. Visit their website at spring-green.com for a free quote today. That's spring-green.com.
And we're back. One of the most useful ways to understand failure is through a few simple statistics and these 5 principles that show how learning actually works.
So number 1, most success comes after multiple failures. Studies of inventors, entrepreneurs, and scientists consistently show that successful outcomes are usually preceded by numerous unsuccessful attempts. Thomas Edison reportedly tested thousands of filament materials before developing a practical light bulb.
Research on entrepreneurs find that many successful founders have experienced at least one failed venture before building a successful company.
In scientific research, the vast majority of hypotheses tested do not produce the expected result. The lesson here is failure is not an exception to the process. It is the process.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think I remember way back in my early learning days. Yeah, but talking about Edison and the light bulb, that he did like thousands and thousands of trials
Right.
to finally figured it out.
I don't know that I could hang on that long.
I don't think I have the patience for
Right.
that. I mean,
I would have given up by that time.
we're on episode 56 of this podcast, and I mean, how many times have we said we're going to keep doing this?
Only I say that, Rob.
I know.
You say we're doing it for life,
We're
and I'm
doing it
like,
forever.
come on.
I just want to get together and hang out every week.
Well, yeah, I like that part too. We keep coming up with topics
Yeah, absolutely.
because we know we've received so many from our listeners.
Send us an email. Oh, and one more thing, pod@gmail.com for suggestions on topics you'd like us to cover.
I love how we put that in there.
Right? It's almost like we didn't plan
And
it.
it wasn't even planned.
I know, right? All right. Second one. The learning curve is steepest at the beginning. Psychologists studying skill acquisition have found that people improve most rapidly during their earliest attempts.
The first failures usually teach more than later successes because they expose the biggest gaps in knowledge.
The lesson here is early mistakes often provide the highest return on learning.
Okay.
Not sure how to comment on that.
I don't know how to comment on that either. So I guess you fail a lot in the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense, right?
I'm with you.
That's when you should fail, hopefully not at the end.
Right?
So number 3, deliberate practice requires error. Research by psychologist Anders Ericsson found that expertise develops through repeated cycles of, number 1, attempt, number 2, feedback, number 3, adjustment, and number 4, reattempt.
If errors never occur, improvement tends to plateau. So the lesson here is consistent learning requires operating at the edge of current ability where mistakes are inevitable.
I wish I could do that more easily.
Yeah.
Where I'm okay with the error or the fail and then actually apply the learning.
Right.
Versus walking away and getting mad and throwing my paintbrush against the wall and say, I give up.
You're right.
No, I've never done that.
It's kind of like me when I'm playing a Super Mario game and I get really stuck and I have to go online and go find the cheat book and how to get it done.
Rob.
Because I get so frustrated, or playing Zelda. Because you can't figure it out. You can't figure out the stupid puzzle. And they're usually stupid. And they always are stupid once you figure them out. Like, that's so lame. How can I not figure that out?
How many times did you throw your controller against the wall?
Well, never, because they're expensive. But it's true. I mean, that's the best example I can give to our younger generation is playing video games where you just get stuck. And then when you find the answer, you're like, oh my God, that was so simple. Like
Because-
you just have to look outside your box.
Right. That's what I was going to say, because you didn't really step outside and
Right.
really analyze it from a new direction.
Right.
So, all right, number 4, failure rate doesn't predict ultimate success. A well-known study of inventors found that highly successful inventors often had more failures, not fewer, than their peers. What distinguishes them was persistence and their ability to learn from each attempt. The lesson here, the number of failures matters less than the amount of learning extracted from each one.
Right. And number 5, most people quit too early. Behavioral research shows that many people abandon goals shortly after setbacks because they interpret failure as a sign to stop rather than a signal to adapt. A useful mental model is failure plus reflection equals learning, failure plus adjustment equals progress, and failure plus repetition of the same mistake equals frustration.
Oh, I know that one for sure.
The value of failure comes from analysis, not endurance alone.
I think that's part of our biggest problem is that I'm unwilling to keep enduring through and apply the learning.
Yeah.
But because I get too frustrated.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, I don't want to do that again.
Right. Or you keep doing the same thing over and over and over until you beat your head against the wall.
Right. Exactly.
Which serves no good purpose for anybody.
What's that saying about
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice,
yeah.
shame on
going.
you. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, right. It's true. It's true. I mean, it's dead on.
Right. A simple philosophy formula, a practical way to think about failure is outcome equals results plus information. Okay, I like that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
When the result is positive, you gain confidence. Yes, I agree with that. When the result is negative, you gain information. That's where I struggle.
Or frustration.
Yeah. So
Right.
if the result is negative too many times in a row, I get too frustrated to see clearly.
Right.
But either way, something valuable is produced, provided the information is captured and applied. That's my biggest problem right there.
Failure is often remembered as a single moment, a bankruptcy, a shutdown, a missed opportunity, or a catastrophic event. But most failures don't happen overnight. They emerge from a series of decisions, assumptions, and signals that were overlooked along the way.
We have some case studies that will try to look beyond the headlines and understand what actually went wrong, the pattern that led to failure, and the lessons that remain relevant long after the event itself.
Okay, here's the parts I like because we get to talk about some iconic companies that just went to the wayside.
Right.
This kind of stuff fascinates me.
Oh, good. Well, this is a great topic for you then.
So the first one, Blockbuster versus Netflix.
Dun, 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 dun.
Right. One of the most famous business failures in recent history is the story of Blockbuster and Netflix. At its peak, Blockbuster was everywhere. If you wanted to rent a movie in the 1990s, chances are you drove to a Blockbuster store.
Heck yeah, we did.
The company dominated the video rental industry and seemed almost untouchable.
Then in 2000, Netflix approached Blockbuster with an offer. Netflix was still a small DVD by mail company and reportedly proposed being acquired for around $50 million. Blockbuster declined.
Big mistake.
Huge. Looking back now, huge mistake.
Yes.
At the time, that decision probably seemed reasonable. Their stores were successful, their brand was strong, and one of their most profitable revenue streams came from late fees. From Blockbuster's perspective, the existing business model was working.
The problem wasn't that they made one bad decision. The problem was that their past successes made it harder to see what was changing around them. They became attached to a model that had worked for years. Instead of asking how customers wanted to consume entertainment in the future, they focused on optimizing what was already generating profits. Meanwhile, Netflix was paying attention to emerging trends, convenience, subscription models, and eventually streaming.
Blockbuster saw streaming as a niche idea. Netflix saw it was the future. By 2010, Blockbuster had filed for bankruptcy while Netflix was rapidly becoming one of the most influential entertainment companies in the world. The lesson isn't that Blockbuster failed because it wasn't smart enough. It's that success can sometimes create blind spots. When something is working, it's easy to dismiss weak signals that suggest change is coming.
The real takeaway is this. The biggest risk is often not the experiment that fails, it's the shift that gets ignored.
That is crazy,
right?
How that happened.
And you know what they don't talk about in here, which also played a part, is, do you remember Redbox?
Yeah.
Like, it was everywhere. It was in gas stations, McDonald's.
It's everywhere, and now you can barely find them.
Now they're gone.
There's a couple.
You're right. There are a couple.
Yeah.
But kind of the same theories. They relied so heavily on the rental business, they didn't shift enough to.
They didn't shift to the streaming where everything was going.
Right. I remember for a little bit at our little local Quick Trip for like a year, there were Blockbuster kind of red box Blockbuster knockoffs. Like Blockbuster had little rental boxes,
right.
kind of the same thing.
They tried to get in too late.
They're way too late.
Yeah.
Way too late.
Yeah.
And so what's funny now too is this. I know this is such a huge story on Netflix and the streaming thing, but now people are shifting back to physical media because streaming is in the cloud and it may or may not be around forever. That movie you bought in the cloud for $20,
it might not be there.
It may not be there someday.
Right.
And the physical media you'll have forever. So now there's almost a shift where DVD sales and Blu-rays are starting to pick up again because people love a movie. They want to keep it forever. They don't want to run that risk of it not being there.
But what is it the chance is going to be like the VCR, where that disc no longer plays on any device?
Exactly. Because what happens when DVD players and Blu-rays go away someday? Then what?
Because there's some new device and then you have to rebuy all of your movies. Opportunity. Rebuy all your movies on the new format.
God, we need to come up with an invention plan for that, don't we?
I think that takes risk and failure.
And work. Hey, Brian, have you planned your vacation yet this year?
No, we've talked about it. Maybe a cruise, but it feels like a lot to figure out. We don't even know what we want to do.
Well, just call Dave at Cruise Planners, doingittravel.com.
Isn't that just for cruises? I'm not sure if we wanted to do an all-inclusive vacation with the family, or maybe this year my wife and I should just do a river cruise. That would be cool.
No, see, that's the thing. He does everything. He helped us with our big family trip last year. He did flights, resort, travel insurance, all of it.
That's so awesome. Honestly, I just want someone I can trust. I don't have time to do all that planning between work and, of course, this podcast.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's why I call it Trust Planners instead of Cruise Planners. Planners. When you work with Dave, your vacation's basically on cruise control.
Nice. So booking with him is a sure thing.
Absolutely. And Cruise Planners partners with every major brand. Cruise lines, all-inclusive, Disney, and so much more. You're in really good hands.
Sounds like he really anchors your whole trip.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, that was fun.
All right, no, seriously, give him a call already. 630-733-2102 or go to doingittravel.com. Don't just dream it, do it. Dave at Cruise Planners just makes it easy.
That number again is 630-733-2102 or go to doingittravel.com. Again, doingittravel.com for all your vacation needs. And tell him Owen One More Thing sent you. Okay, so our second case study, number 2, is Nokia.
Oh, Nokia. You remember them?
that? Yeah,
Oh
I
my
do.
God, they were
Yeah.
huge.
Before the smartphone era, Nokia was king in mobile phones.
Like Major King.
Major.
Yeah.
In the late 1990s and the early 2000s, Nokia wasn't just a market leader. It was the market leader. Their phones were reliable, durable, and everywhere. For many people, a Nokia phone was their first mobile phone.
Then came the smartphone evolution when Apple introduced the iPhone in 2007 and Google's Android platform with the Motorola Droid phone began gaining traction. The industry started shifting from hardware-focused devices to software-driven experiences. Suddenly, consumers cared less about battery life and durability and more about apps, touchscreens, and seamless user experiences.
Nokia saw these changes happening, but it struggled to respond. What's particularly interesting is that many analysts believe Nokia's downfall wasn't primarily a technology problem. The company had talented engineers, significant resources, and a strong brand. The bigger issue was organizational.
Reports and later research suggested that employees were often hesitant to challenge leadership or deliver bad news. Teams recognized problems, but concerns didn't always move quickly through the organization. Decision-making became slow, and the company struggled to align around a clear response to the changing market.
At the same time, Nokia underestimated how dramatically customer expectations were shifting. They were focused on improving phones, while competitors were redefining what a phone could be. By the time Nokia fully reacted, competitors had established a commanding lead, and the smartphone market had largely consolidated around Apple and Android.
The lesson from Nokia is an important one. Failure isn't always the result of a bad strategy. Sometimes organizations know what is happening but are unable to respond effectively because of their culture, communication patterns, or decision-making processes. In other words, the greatest threat isn't always what's happening in the market, it's what people inside the organization are afraid to say out loud.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Did you have a Nokia phone?
I did not have a Nokia, but right before the Apple and Android became huge,
Yeah.
BlackBerries.
A BlackBerry?
Oh,
Sure.
I had a BlackBerry with the full keyboard.
Our first phone was a Nokia.
Yeah.
Yes, and it was crazy easy to use, but yeah, it just couldn't do much. It was a brick.
My first one was the Motorola StarTAC.
Oh, I don't remember that.
So it was a flip phone.
Yeah.
And had the orange LCD display where you basically put in your phone number and that's about it. Like that's,
sure.
that's all you could
Sure.
see.
That's all you could do.
That's
Yeah.
all you could see.
Yep.
But it was compact. And they tried bringing it back, it failed. But now they're trying, Google and Apple are both bringing flip phones back now.
Really? Oh yeah, I think I've seen some of those.
And if you're a current Love Island watcher, which I know you are,
I'm
they're
not.
using Motorola flip phones on there for their I got a text every time they scream that. They got the Motorola flip phone.
Well, that's just ad play or product placement. That's
completely
all that is.
It completely is. But
So I had one of those Google phones that had the first full keyboard, like a BlackBerry had a keyboard on.
Oh, yeah.
And you
Mhm.
flipped them open,
Yeah.
and then you could do the whole keyboard. That was a lot easier for me.
yeah, right.
Because all of the 555, no, 222,
Right.
trying to get to your numbers to text something, as I couldn't figure that
Okay,
out.
back up because anybody under the age of 25 has no idea what you're talking about. The 555 thing.
No, really?
Yeah, I guarantee it.
You only had your keypad on your phone, and in order to get a letter of the
Your
alphabet,
keypad, the 12 digits.
yeah, you had to push the number either one, two, or three times real fast to get whatever letter it corresponded with.
Right. So texting became really good. Just get the letter you needed.
Yeah.
Hitting the same number over and over and over.
And that's probably, obviously, that's where the acronym started for like LOL
and
to abbreviate everything down so small because it was so hard to get to those letters.
143.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what 143 is?
No.
I love you.
Oh, Rob. Let's get back to the case studies,
right.
Rob. This is getting too lovey-dovey.
Too
over
mushy.
here.
All right, next one. Case number 3, Kodak. For most of the 20th century, Kodak was synonymous with photography. Photography. Spit it out, kid. If you wanted to capture memory, there was a good chance you were just using a Kodak camera on Kodak film. The company dominated the industry and became one of the most recognizable brands in the world.
What makes the Kodak story especially fascinating is that it wasn't blindsided by digital photography. In fact, a Kodak engineer developed one of the first digital cameras in 1975.
Shut the front door.
I know, right?
Really? So why didn't Kodak lead the digital revolution?
The company was deeply invested in its existing business model. Film sales, photo processing generated enormous profits, and digital photography threatened that entire ecosystem.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense.
Leaders recognized that the potential of digital photography, but fully embracing it, meant disrupting the business that was still making billions.
So as a result, Kodak moved cautiously while competitors moved aggressively. Over time, consumer behavior shifted. People wanted the convenience of digital photos, instant viewing, and eventually smartphone cameras. The market evolved much faster than Kodak's willingness to change. By 2012, Kodak filed for bankruptcy protection.
So the failure pattern, protecting the current business at the expense of the future, innovating internally but failing to act decisively, and underestimating how quickly customer behavior could change. Kodak's failure wasn't caused by a lack of innovation. Ironically, they helped invent the future that they were afraid to embrace. So the lesson is simple. Sometimes the greatest threat to an organization isn't a competitor, it's the fear of disrupting its own success.
Yeah, that's crazy to me that Kodak invented the digital camera and then basically bailed on it.
Right.
I mean, that's insane.
Because their blinders are on to see that our current model is making so much money.
Right. And I still remember, like, one of my first, I opened up the Plymouth Target store back in 91, 92, whatever. And I was in charge of the electronics counter, and they put in, we were a test store for a self-contained photo machine.
Oh, sure.
Where people could bring us their
Yeah.
photo. We put them in a little thing, put it in the front of the machine, and it did everything automatically and spit out the pictures, and that's how we process photos.
Right.
And that was such a huge, huge thing back then. And then even as that evolved and digital cameras became more to play, people were still printing their photos.
Right.
Like, they didn't quite get the joke that you could save them forever on your phone. I have 8 gazillion photos and they'll be there forever.
Well, with all the people that do scrapbooking, they wanted a print of that so they could put it in their scrapbook.
Yeah.
We have scrapbooks now of my older children all have books. My youngest daughter has only a couple of actual printed pictures. The rest of them are all on the computer.
Right. Yeah.
And do you go back and look at them?
No, but they're there.
But they're there.
Yeah. And even we had to print some pictures not that long ago, and it was a challenge to figure out that I had to go upload them to Walgreens. It was the closest place to me where I could go get a physical print of a picture.
It's so challenging.
They used to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh my God, where do I get a freaking print from?
And nobody prints them here. They got to send them into a company and wait for them to come back.
Yeah. Okay, I got one more. I'm going off topic because I did spend like almost 20 years in retail.
Yeah?
You remember a little company called Sears?
Oh, yeah, Sears. Do we know that they're around it a little anymore?
The last time I saw, I think there's literally one store left, like in Florida.
That's crazy.
I'm not joking. So Sears' downfall was a decades-long collapse from a 20th century retailer titan into near total extinction. This has to be delayed. I'm reading a story I found. They are at total extinction. They got one store left.
One store, right.
One store left, yeah. So what happened is hedge funds. So billionaire in 2004, billionaire investor Eddie Lampert, he purchased Sears and then he merged it with Kmart. And rather than investing in the business, Lampert used a soiled management model and severely starved the retail operations of cash. He started the Discover card. He went into investing with, I think it was Prudential at the time. He just basically broke everything up, and he was a hedge fund. He was all about the cash. While that was going on, the store experience was completely deteriorating. Shoppers were constantly met with unkept, dimly lit stores and barren shelves. Sears also stripped away sales commissions from their employees, which crushed employee morale and the customer service incentives. The loss of that brand dominance Sears previously held unmatched control over the appliance and home improvement markets. Seriously, there was a time where every appliance in our house
came from Sears.
Was Kenmore.
Yeah, and you had
every tool was Craftsman.
You had to go back to Sears to get the parts, or they would come out and fix it. Everything was Sears.
Right. It failed to adapt as competitors like Home Depot and Lowe's captured the market share, but those are iconic brands that everybody uses, and they just foobarred the hell out of it.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't Sears and Roebuck. They were a catalog company.
They were yeah. So that was part of the 2004. They basically abandoned the catalog, and they failed to embrace e-commerce. So despite owning probably the most valuable consumer data and pioneering early e-commerce through the Prodigy online service. Remember Prodigy?
What?
Remember Prodigy?
What? The movie?
Before AOL.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was theirs.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they were in that
Boy,
world.
that's going back a while.
Yeah, they were in that world, but they got outmaneuvered by Amazon and Walmart in a heartbeat because they didn't stay caught up with it.
Right.
So they
right.
abandoned the catalog, they abandoned e-commerce, they abandoned everything because this dillhole, Eddie Lampert, was all about the dollars. That's all he cared about, but he had no idea how to run it.
Well, there you go. That's the downfall right there.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's enough of my tangent.
All right. So failure hurts because it is often mistaken for a verdict rather than feedback. People tend to interpret setbacks as proof that they are incapable, when in reality, failure is simply information gathered under conditions of uncertainty. It feels so powerful because it challenges identity, threatens the sense of belonging, and disrupts the belief that effort should always lead to success.
What's interesting is that many of the most famous failures weren't caused by a lack of intelligence, talent, or resources. Blockbuster didn't fail because it didn't know how to run a successful business. Nokia didn't fail because it lacked great engineers. Kodak didn't fail because it couldn't innovate. In fact, Kodak helped invent digital photography. Their failures emerged from patterns, ignoring signals, becoming attached to past success, underestimating change, or creating cultures where difficult truths weren't openly discussed.
The same thing happens on a personal level. We often focus on the outcome and ask, why did I fail? When the better question is, what is this failure trying to teach me? The outcome may be disappointing, but the information it provides is incredibly valuable.
The systems that consistently perform at the highest levels, from science and aviation to elite sports, understand this. They don't treat failure as something to hide or fear. They study it without judgment, look for patterns instead of blame, and use it to improve future outcomes. Every mistake becomes data. Every setback becomes feedback.
Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process that creates it. The difference between those who grow and those who remain stuck is often not the number of failures they experience, but what they choose to do with the information those failures provide. In that sense, failure isn't a verdict. It is one of the most powerful teachers we have.
Don't be afraid to fail, people.
That's right. And learn.
That's right. Hey, as always, please follow us on the socials at 01 More Thing Pod on Facebook and Instagram for highlights and news of our upcoming shows.
And if you have any show ideas for us or just want to give us some feedback, send us an email at 01onemorethingpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Plus, we do have merchandise, some t-shirts and caps. If you're interested, shoot us an email.
Oh, and one more thing. After a failure, the question shouldn't be, what does this say about me? Because the answer is usually something dramatic and unhelpful. Instead, ask, what does this teach me about the process, the system, or the decision? That's the difference between collecting wisdom and collecting emotional damage. After all, a life optimized to avoid failure is really just a very efficient way to avoid growth.
That's right. Hey, bye, everyone.
Bye.
I feel the growth happening already.